Water, earth, fire, air. Long ago, the four elements lived together in harmony. Then everything changed when the Magnolias evolved. Only Jibo, master of all four elements, can understand them, but when his students needed him the most, he assigned a documentary project. A whole semester passed, and my group and I discovered the Arboretum, and although we know a lot about Magnolias, we still have a lot to learn before we're ready to understand them. But I believe we can, with the help of the Arboretum man.
I'm Patrick Thompson. I'm an Arboretum specialist here at the Davis Arboretum, and I do a little bit of work with our Magnolia collection. The Sweet Bay Magnolia is one that further north doesn't get to be such a prominent species, and they even use them as foundation plantings around buildings, because they stay so small where the climate's colder. But here in Alabama, as you can see, they can grow to quite an impressive size and have very distinctive leaves with this very light silver backside. Underside of the leaves, bright silver. So the cucumber magnolia, kind of a cucumbery melon scent. I think that's what it's called at Bath & Body Works. The androecium are the male flower parts in the outer whorl, and in the inner whorl are the female flower parts. And they form a cone later in the season where the seeds will develop into the fruit of the plant. Magnolia is a superlative plant in Alabama. It has the largest simple leaf of any plant in the state, and it has the largest simple flower of any native plant in the state. It will of course develop into a cone with numerous seeds attached to a little furunculus that the bright red seeds hang out on and kind of dangle in the wind. And if you were to dissect the flower, all of the male parts would have been attached here, and then the female parts developed into this cone with individual seeds. Be just a vegetative bud producing these young leaves that will, of course, expand to almost 3 feet in length in some cases. And it depends on the environmental conditions where they reach their maximum potential. But fully vegetative growth here, and you'll have terminal floral buds on Magnolia, and some people still consider it a subspecies of the bigleaf magnolia. Some people acknowledge full species status, which would be Magnolia ashii. And so here you can see the vegetative bud has broken and is expanding, and then next to it we have a floral bud, and this is going to expand into a very tall flower that'll get almost a foot tall and then fall open to almost a foot wide in either direction. So a very large flower again on this, one of the big-leaved magnolias. One unique thing about the ash magnolia is that it will develop these flowers on even a very small plant. So you can see this is just over 3 feet tall, but it can develop a flower that's a foot tall and a foot wide. This is another of the southeastern deciduous magnolias. The Fraser magnolia occurs in the mountains. This individual was collected near the border of Tennessee and North Carolina. So this isn't one that would naturally be found this close to the coastal plain, but because of the microclimate here on this slope, we're able to grow it and display it for people to come and see just what they look like. So the pyramid magnolia grows through most of the southern parts of the state and grows with some of the other deciduous magnolias. Magnolias provide good cover during the winter parts of the year. So we have our evergreen magnolias like the southern magnolia and the sweet bay magnolia, and they're used by, again, birds in the winter, and they're also attracted to their seeds, of course. We have several types of magnolias here at the Arboretum, and most of them do well down in lower wet areas, but then ones like the pyramid magnolias can often be found in sandy sites, as well as the ash magnolia, which occurs only in the panhandle of Florida.
There's an interesting thing about magnolias is just that their diversity. You know, we have phenomenal. There's probably over 300 species. Asian magnolia. It's unusual, different than a lot of our native species in that it's deciduous. But it's got all the classic magnolia features, including, for example, the outer whorl of flowers are always in these parts of three, the multiples of three, like that, right? And it has all its parts present. It has numerous parts arranged spirally, and the outer parts are not really differentiated from the inner ones, like we see in more derived groups of flowering plants. And so, for these reasons, magnolias were often thought to be sort of a primitive type of flower.
The southern Magnolia grandiflora, is the biggest selling magnolia in the United States, year after year after year. And that's an evergreen magnolia,
Right.
and of course known for its white flowers and fragrant flowers, and just a staple, particularly in the South, although it'll grow up to Washington, D.C. in that area also. But everybody thinks, when they think of the South, they think of southern magnolia. Well, you got deciduous and you got evergreen, and then within the magnolias, you got a group of deciduous magnolias called the big leaf magnolias. Like Magnolia macrophylla is a classic example of that. Its leaf can get up 36 inches long. It's the largest simple leaf of any native plant in the United States. The big leaf magnolias that are deciduous, they drop their leaves every year, particularly in the fall of the year. So they don't have leaves during winter. So you say, oh, that's a deciduous tree. The evergreen magnolia is dropping its leaves all the time. Look under these. They're cute, but they don't drop all their leaves. They drop them prorated over several years.
It is very common to see mosses growing on magnolias. These mosses live in symbiosis with the magnolia trees. Most magnolias will at some point have velvety, light-colored buds that can be many different shapes and sizes. These buds will eventually break open and beautiful flowers will emerge. The flowers can be many different colors, including white on the southern magnolia and pinkish purple on the Asian magnolia. The magnolia leaves are very distinctive, ranging from all sizes and textures, from waxy to velvety. Leaves, branches, and flowers all come together to form huge towering trees and small skinny trees. There are around 210 species of magnolias that differ in size, shape, color of the flower, and type of habitat. They originate in Southeast Asia and North America. However, they have been naturalized to nearly all continents. The bark of the magnolia trees can be used in many Asian medicines, as well as even some furniture. The magnolia trees have aggregate fruit resembling a strawberry, with dry seeds located on the exterior of the fruit. This is a plant that can live to be over 100 years old. It is monoecious and grows best in acidic soil. Magnolias have very large and unbranched roots, meaning that after they have reached almost complete maturity, they should not be moved from their original location. As far as evolutionary adaptations are concerned, the magnolia flowers are of the most primitive. Their flowering structure has changed little, if at all, in some species over the years of its existence. Unfortunately, some species of magnolias face an uncertain future due to habitat loss as a result of increased human activity and interference.